Welcome everyone, this is episode 40 of the Heart for Excellence show, and today we have a special guest, Chris Johnson, the man who is behind some fantastic coffee. He's brought some samples. I can't wait to try them. I'm a big coffee person myself, so it's always nice to meet a coffee connoisseur. But I'm going to turn it over to Trevor, because Trevor has the pleasure of knowing Chris much longer. I've only met Chris at the Advanced. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. It was fantastic. But I'm going to turn it over to Trevor, because Trevor's going to give you a lot more justice than I can.
He's always so funny when he says he's a big coffee connoisseur. Just because he's 6'4", he's a big coffee connoisseur. These guys, I'm telling you. Hey, great to be here on episode 40 of Heart for Excellence with you brothers. Had the joy of doing the advance with both of you. And I got to say, when I say it was a lot of fun, it wasn't because it was entertaining, but rather it was so rich in relationship with you guys. And having Chris here is just another testimony of that time. Because really, I only met Chris one time before the events.
Oh, really? I thought you guys were like...
Yeah. We are.
Spiritually.
We are.
We actually met.
Not time, space, wise.
We actually met, and he talked to my wife longer than he talked to me.
Uh-oh.
And he had all the women at the table talking to him about men of God and how we need men of God. And they were fired up.
Yeah, women are looking for men of God, and we're lacking that in society. And so what's beautiful, I know Chris has got a testimony to share. And I just, to be honest with you, I'm excited to dig into this because it's powerful. So, Chris, and at the end, I want you remember to tell people how they get a hold of you, because what you do now professionally is coffee.
Right. Yeah.
And but that's the sidebar.
Yeah,
that's the sidebar, right? So you can tell us how to get a hold of you for that. But
that'd be great.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, and what we dig in pretty quick about the painful parts and the journey you've been on. And we'll probably do a second episode of where you are today. But let's talk about your past a little bit and how God worked in all of that, what it looked like, and what you had to come through to be where you are today.
Man, that's going to be a lot. But I try, so jump right into it. As you can tell, when you look at me, a lot of people think I'm either Hispanic or Middle Eastern. But
like me.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. And especially if I get in the sun. But I am mixed between black and white. And so my dad, African-American, my mom white. My mom's actually Scottish, Irish, Belgian, and French. And my dad is African-American and Native American. But my mom came down there from master's school from Pennsylvania, met my dad, never went back. And my dad was married before he married my mom. So there's some siblings that are there that are full African-American, but I'm mixed breed. And the problem that I had growing up was identity.
Kind of like you, huh?
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Yeah. So mix that together with a home that is not flourishing financially, where the mother is the breadwinner, and the dad is the free spirit, kind of keep a job, lose a job. There's lack of stability. And when you're a kid, stability is something you can kind of stand on and be a little more confident. Like, if I knew my dad loved me and support me, which I know he did, but I didn't know then as much, I would stand a little bit more firm in school and knowing who I am. But I was confused. And so it was awkward. I grew up in, like, the suburbs. I went to school that had, just to be real, ghetto, prep, and middle class, And I felt more comfortable with the preps, which were the whites, but I was more accepted by the blacks. The weirdest thing. And so I just continued to seek for approval. Yeah.
And I could never get it, because where I wanted to be, I felt like I wasn't being fully accepted, whether that was the truth or not.
Right.
It didn't matter, because I thought that. And that's how I perceived it. And then over here, I felt accepted, but I didn't fit in because I wasn't from the hood. I was like in the middle suburbs. I was the struggling class that probably would have flourished in the hood, but I was in the middle class area of the poor, the poorest. We didn't go without, but we also didn't have overflow, And so just dealing with that. And so fast forward, I have an awesome older brother, Michael Johnson. First, I want to give thanks to my wife. Love my wife, Amber Johnson, for her support through all this. as this mess continues to get unfolded in our relationship. But I had an awesome example as a brother who went to Spring Memorial Baptist Church, which is now Founders Baptist Church, and he was on fire for the Lord, and he invited me to a youth camp. Right. And at this time, I'm having this identity crisis and whatnot, and I'm doing stupid things for acceptance. Right. You know, I don't think at this point yet had I tried drugs, but that comes.
Well, what age are you at this point?
I'm about 11 years old.
Oh, you're only 11. Wow. You're not black. You're not white. You're struggling for identity. Mm-hmm. Your dad isn't quite engaged in the sense of the leadership role. Your mom probably has taken a little bit more of that on, and so you're not getting quite the identity from your dad, it sounds like, and you're wrestling with who you are, and you're only at 11 at this point. Yeah. And now your older brother, who is a good guy, is involved in church. Right. Okay.
Yeah. 5 years older, and
just out of curiosity, like sure. your brother's involved in church, but you're not. What do you think was the difference?
I'm not sure. He would invite, but he was going on of his own. We grew up in the church, going to my grandma's church, but it was more of a thing to do, kind of like we're going to church on Sunday, everybody get dressed up, act good. We're going because it was a family church. It was like the thing to do. It wasn't really us wanting to be there. It wasn't a personal decision. So we had been going to church, but my brother started going to this other church where he was going to youth camp, he was going to events, he was getting involved, he was voluntarily going apart from everybody else in the family. And so he would invite, and I don't remember that well because of drugs and the influence it's had on my brain, but I do remember I didn't go all the time. He invited me to a youth camp one time. I think it was called Dare to Run Camp. Yeah. And met the Lord there. It was like the second or third day of worship, and during worship, I felt like I had an encounter. Nothing real trippy or like crazy. Just I felt the love of God, right? And I felt Him beckoning me to Him, that I can trust Him.
And you're still in middle school.
I'm 11 at this point.
Okay, all right.
And so all I remember is tears coming down my face, and my hands raised in worship. And my feet taking me to the altar. Like, it was, I'm not going to say I didn't have there have been plenty of times where that desire was there and I resisted it. But this time I didn't resist it. But there was still help and assistance on the way. And I accepted Christ, and I believe in my heart that at that point I knew the Lord, I was saved.
Okay, so for our listeners, right, because guys are going to be listening to this, Mark is going to put a description of this podcast. I want to dig now. I want to just dive down deep now. So you cheered a lot with me, and let me know if there's anything that we shouldn't talk about.
Nothing's off limits.
Okay. So then I want to go there, because the guys that are listening, before they tune out, go, okay, he's had a nice little life and he gives his life to Jesus, hallelujah. That's not the case. That is not the case. Because you even hinted to that earlier when you said because of drugs, your memory isn't exactly what it should be.
Right.
So let's get there. What does the wheels falling off of your life look like? What's going on? What happened? When is this?
Well, it doesn't take long after this encounter.
Okay.
So I come back from youth camp on fire. I even wrote a song about it. But I came back from youth camp on fire to a dull world. To the same friends, the same influences. I didn't have a car. As an adult, you can change your environment. No, I lived in a neighborhood where the same friends came over, went to the same park, I went fishing at the same pond, I went camping in the same woods with the same people, doing the same thing. Mischief. And so I didn't also tell y'all that I found my identity in other things. So before drugs came along, it was sports. I played quarterback since I was 7 years old. Started quarterback on every team that I played on, because I'm looking for that validation from dad, right? I'm looking for that validation from my friends. I'm looking for acceptance, which drove me to be good. But so when I come back, I'm still in that identity crisis. I'm on that journey, that walk. And I remember specifically it was 7th grade, if not 8th. This is where it gets a little muddy. I did one of the stupidest things for acceptance. I was at a neighborhood behind our middle school, and they were smoking weed. And he said, if you want to eat this, you got to roll down the bayou. And like a fool, I rolled down the bayou like an idiot. And that was the first time I ever tried marijuana. And it was like, oh my God.
this is release from all the pressure in my mind that I have going on about being accepted. Do they like me? Is that funny? Do I look good? Oh my God, these shoes are dirty. All these thoughts are going on in my head. They're laughing at me. But when I smoke weed,
it goes away.
It was gone. I didn't care what you think. I'm cool. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. I'm fine. Let me do me. And so that it started at about 12 of smoking weed.
Yeah.
And what used to be like, hey, it's Saturday, let's go camping in the woods deal and bring some weed with you, to within the next, because we had a lot of liberty back then, not like today. Like my parents would let me go camping in the woods at 12, no adults.
Yeah.
You know, and be okay. We had a group of friends, that's what we did. And it started growing from once a week to once every 3 days.
Wow.
And then once every 2 days. And then about, fast forward a little bit, sophomore year, once again, I've been playing football, starting quarterback, competing in middle school with some other people because it's starting to get more athletes coming. And then high school, I'm playing quarterback, but I go ride to school. At this point, I'm smoking every day, all day. Every day, all day. Wake up, smoke.
Wow.
Lunch break, smoke. Get out of school, smoke. And I'm smart, so I'm still getting A's and B's. I don't study. I do my work at the last minute. And I'm still starting on the football team, so everything. People like me because I'm an athlete, you know, or at least I think I am. It's like this self-medicate. But I'm not going to church. I'll go into church for like a month or two, 2 weeks, 1 week, conviction, fall back, you know. But I ride to school, and we decide to hotbox the car, which is basically smoke the car out. I get in there, we're late, smelling like a pound of weed. I walk in through the secretary. She smells me. She must tell the principal. It was middle of my sophomore year. So they come into in my first period class while I'm passed out on the desk. It's the assistant principal or one of the counselors. He said, "Must have been some good weed. Come outside. Let me talk to you." And so I go outside, and fast forward, the cops came, arrested me, took me off campus, kicked out of school.
Wow. Yeah.
So that it was every day, all day. Up to that point, it was just weed. And so I got kicked out of that. I had to go to alternative school for the rest of that year, and then I transferred to St. Pius High School, where I
just not of high school,
where I played quarterback there as well for my junior and senior year. You know, you think you go to a private religious school that you're going to get away from drugs and alcohol.
I went to a Catholic school.
That's far from the truth.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. So keep going.
So now you are in the school, supposed to be safe, but you're looking probably for acceptance still, and so you still find the old crowd, because the old crowd is wherever you go.
Right.
So you find the parties. What's going on now? How's this snowballing?
And I'd be careful to call it. I don't want to blame it all on the crowd.
No, because you chose to be part of the crowd.
Yeah, I am battling with the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. I believe I've been regenerated, that the Holy Spirit is at work inside me, but I'm still battling the old man. Yeah. And I'm losing. Yeah. So when I get there, I'm the new kid. He's the starting quarterback. Oh, look at me, you know. And so, I mean, also St. Pius is centered right in the middle of the hood. Yeah. I mean, you got Acres Homes right there. You know, all these other neighborhoods right around there. I can't remember the name of the other neighborhood, but so I mean, we did what we did, and I don't mind sharing everything about my story. What I definitely don't want to do is share something that would be detrimental to someone else, bringing someone's name in. So we would leave as soon as we would smoke on the way to school, and then as soon as we would leave school, we would leave for a little bit, go around the neighborhood. Because you're right in the middle of it, pick up what we wanted, do it, come back to practice, and practice for 2-3 hours. Wow. And I did that.
You could still do that.
I did that. Wow. Yeah, I could have been so much better, but I would drop back in the pocket. And I'd be like fog mine, like.
So, where does it really start getting bad for you?
Okay, so I'm doing well, as in sports. Senior year. At this point, I have now dabbled into mushrooms. I've dabbled into ecstasy. I've dabbled into cocaine. All these things, kind of managing my grades. It's senior year.
I've been elected to the Senior Bowl to pay for all the private schools, I believe in Texas, to play in the Senior Bowl. I play. I get looked at by a school out in Nebraska. They fly me up there for a visit. I'm thinking, this is my ticket out. Because this entire time, I'm having this inner battle. Like, I want to stop, but I cannot stop.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, this is my way out. This is my way out. I go up there. It's Concordia Lutheran in Nebraska. We have a sit-down Bible study. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like perfect setting. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. So I go back, finish up my senior year. At the end of my senior year, I'm smoking weed in the Woodlands, in Shenandoah, and on the back porch, and they roll up on four-wheelers. My first possession of marijuana charge. So I go down to the county, I get out, I get on 6 months probation. I'm on probation, I tell the coach, look, this is what happened. He said, okay, fly straight, it's okay. You'll be off probation before you need to come up here. It's like, okay. I'm riding with some friends in Houston. We get pulled over. I'm actually sober at this point because, like I said, this is my ticket out.
Yeah.
But I still haven't changed people I'm hanging around. So I'm riding in a car. We get pulled over. They throw everything on the floor. We all get charged with it. So now I'm violating my previous probation. I go into county jail to do, I think it was like 10 days time served or something. And the coach was like, I can't deal with it. So I went into a very, very, very deep depression. Like, this is it for me. That was my way out.
Felt like your life was over.
Yeah, that was it. And I'm very grateful. I know God was maybe even shielding me from making something more important than Him. But anyways, I try not to figure that all out because it's null and void. Yeah, and so at that point, I started waiting tables, and in the waiting table industry, all it is work. You get this fast money, and you live this party life. Yeah, that's what you do. And so, smoking weed, doing X, waiting tables, smoking weed, doing X, waiting tables, doing handlebars, and those are Xanax, antidepressants, but people take them as downers. Yeah. And I did some very, very stupid things, some things that I really, really regret doing. And we had some stupid games that we played with friends called Slippers Count. And basically, if your friend fell asleep and he wasn't paying attention and you can get over on him while he's asleep, then he can't hold it against you because you were slipping. How dark is that? Right? Yeah. So I would fall asleep and they'd get me and I couldn't I'd get up and couldn't get mad. But I'd get mad, of course, like, I can't wait to get him back. So it happened one night. So I have two possession of marijuana charges on the record at this time. It happened that night. Situation went down. Someone else was slipping, if you want to call it that. And I did something that in turn got me a felony burglary habitation charge.
So what is that?
Basically burglarizing someone's house.
So when the person is slipping, what are you doing to him?
Let's say he has some weed. And he falls asleep. I'm taking all his weed. Let's say he has some money on the table. He falls asleep, taking all his money. Stupid, just dark. And if I fell asleep, it did the same thing to me.
They're going to take all your stuff.
But you're still my friend. Like, we go fight. It's us against whoever we're against. Like, we're still boys, but don't slip.
So now they get this charge on you. What happens next?
So, I get this charge, burglary habitation. They give me 3 years TDC. And so, family doesn't have money. I couldn't afford a lawyer. After what happened, I did this deal to my friend that I deeply regret. They found out I still had majority of everything that I took and gave it back to him. He dropped the charges, but the state picked it up. So he said, okay, we don't want to press charges against him, but this state picked it up. And so it was me against state. So I got 3 years, ended up doing 9 months in TDC. I thought I was good. Right? I thought I was good. I thought 9 months was good. I got out, and I knew I couldn't smoke weed because I would fail a drug test because I had 2 years and 3 months left of parole. And I couldn't stop smoking weed. And so then I finally did stop smoking weed after the parole officer gave me chance after chance. And I met this girl.
at a club, and she introduced me to crystal meth.
Ooh.
And from that point, it was no good.
Okay.
You know, and so.
From this point, it was no good. I'm already thinking this is no good, but I'm thinking it's about to get worse.
Yeah, so how about we save it for the next episode?
Okay.
Are we at that time?
Yeah, I think it's the right time. So,
Wow.
Okay. Hold on, guys. We're gonna.
So, Chris, yeah, thank you. Just laying the picture of the story out here for us, and we're looking forward to the next episode. Thank you.
Okay. Hang in there, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right.